This is Jack Stanley, and I wanted to have a little talk about space and about life in space and our understandings of it all. It's an interesting thing when you think about it. We have a tendency to poo poo anything that we find that just does not fit our current narrative. And that we have institutions, religious institutions, and other forms of intellectual thought, if we may put it that way, that totally go against saying anything about life in space. Let's just be honest about it. You have to have been born under a rock to really believe that in the vastness of the universe there is no life. You'd have to be born under a rock to think that. Now, what I wonder about all of this is the fact that when we talk about people in space, and we talk about space beings and life, we have the arrogant nature to try to make them look like us to a degree. We are not the smartest creatures around, okay? And in the universe, we're probably pretty low on the totem pole. But I will tell you this, as the old saying goes, that arrogance is the ugly sister of ignorance, and there's a great deal of ignorance in this world. And when it comes to understanding space and understanding life in space, there's a very good chance that we don't really give it much of a thought, and when we do, we have our preconceived notions of what it is, because we saw it in the movies. And in this day and age, unfortunately, a lot of times movies are the great arbiter of how we think or how we perceive. And anything that has happened historically, if there's been a movie made about it, whether it's correct or not, it has become standard operational information. And go against it and you will be absolutely attacked. But you know something? I think as we start to expand our studies of the universe and our abilities to study the universe improve, that we will start to see life. We may even contact life. Who's to say we haven't already? Because first off, you know immediately that almost any government is not going to announce it right away, because first off, if there is a conversation or a meeting between other life forms in the universe and the humanity of this earth, that will have a horrendous effect upon religion. Because according to religion, which is basically Stone Age gobbledygook that's put together, and if you sit there and take any kind of modern science and throw it against it, well, as you can see, it's not going to stand up very well, and it will probably destroy it. And that's probably one of the reasons that information is so sparse pertaining to life in space. Because if it is found, if it is discovered, religion will take a hike, because all of a sudden, much of the relative nature of religion will become null and void. All you have to start looking at is the Sumerian texts and the little blocks and read what they say. It's kind of fascinating. So, space. I'm waiting. I hope in my life that we finally do have contact. Wouldn't that be fascinating? Can you imagine interstellar relationships? Intellectual, more probably on their part than ours, transfers of great breakthroughs scientifically, medically, basically for environmental operations. I mean, it's an endless cornucopia of things that could happen if indeed we do find an opportunity to work with those from other worlds. And I know it will happen, just don't know when. Because I'm telling you now, they exist. I mean, as I said before, you have to be born under a rock. One last thing to mention before I close this, and that is that what will happen once that does happen is the very nature of man is going to change. The very nature of man's existence, his creation, his understanding of his place in the cosmos is all going to change. And I think we're ready for it because as a species, we're certainly showing how stupid we can be if you look at how the world is operating these days. This would be a wonderful thing to happen. And let's hope it does soon. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I don't think I'm jumping too far off the pond to state that there is life in space. I mean, mathematically, it only makes sense. And, of course, once we get past our arrogance and ignorance, I think there's no question at all. Thank you.